Hey everybody, how you doing? Today I'll be talking about Dan Curtis' Dracula, and this is the version of Dracula where Jack Palance plays Count Dracula. And I was surprised I never heard about this one, man. I'm shocked. I was just flipping through Tubi TV, and Tubi has Dracula. I saw a Dracula cover with Jack Palance in it, and I'm like, yo, this is for real? And now when IMDb start checking up on it, and yo, this was actually a TV movie done by Dan Curtis. And why this is a big deal? Dan Curtis was the guy who created Dark Shadows, which was one of my favorite horror TV series back in the days. And I'm still watching the reruns of the older episodes, and I still have a lot to catch up on. Cause I grew up with the newer episodes when I was growing up in the '80s and stuff. And but back in the days, there was older episodes. I think it really originally aired in the '60s, if I'm corrected. Dark Shadows. So I'm still catching up with those stuff. But yeah, to see Dan Curtis' take on Count Dracula was interesting, especially to have Jack Palance play Count Dracula. I always grew around with Christopher Lee's Bela Lugosi, and my favorite Draculas happened to be Frank Langella Dracula from 1979, which I feel like is so underrated in my opinion. But for this generation, but which they have to go back and check it out. Bram Stoker's Dracula by Frank Coppola was good too. Really did enjoy that. I did have to see the movie a second or third time around to get a better understanding his take on it, because he kind of went the lavish, flamboyant kind of type of style way with it in my opinion. But my favorite kind of Dracula has to be is actually Christopher Lee, but I kind of moved on with Frank Langaria's version of it. It's just the sad thing about it is like I wish they did sequels on that his take on it, but it was only a one shot. But besides that, Jack Palance's Count Dracula was really good. It is a TV movie. Um, the concept was pretty much similar to the other Draculas, but they kind of switched it up a little bit to make it their own, like the other Dracula movies, how they are. And you got Harker that comes to his castle, because Dracula want property. Of course, Dracula had other ideas for him. Once he saw a picture of his woman that looked like a woman, that looked like his wife during the middle of age time, and he pretty much once he took advantage of Harker and leave him there to be fed by his vampire bride. I'm just gonna fast forward this review a little bit on that part. He goes to England, and there was a scene which they didn't show you the scene when he was in the boat, how he came to England. There was a scene that was like a still footage of a guy of the ship that was wreckage on the beach shore, and she Jack past Count Dracula with his coffin, looking at one of the crew members, looking like his neck was snapped, holding the cross right in front of him, like across at him, and that looked is so creepy and freaky at the same time. That one scene right there, man. I mean, like wow. And then later on in the movie, as it progressed, you find out that he kind of seduces Mina, and is up to Van Helsing and his friend to try to stop Count Dracula pretty much. As the movie progresses, Mina dies, and then Lucy is the one that's gonna be the next victim pretty much. Then they go back to They go no, Dracula once he found out that his coffin been destroyed. He has to go back to Transylvania, and then Van Helsing's friend has to go to his home country to stop him pretty much. Um, where he stopped, that scene was kind of simple, but you see a little bit more Hawker in that scene when he finally see what happens to him as he becomes a vampire also. The final fight scene with Jack Palance as Dracula, I thought it was too simple, in my opinion. But again, this is they take on Dan Curtis' take on it. But his acting was great. But the acting was good. But was good. Don't get me wrong. But Jack Palance actually portrayed Dracula. To me, that kind of sold it for me anyway. So it was like, okay, I give the final battle as a scene as he sees the sun and he started moving left and right when the sun started hitting him. But all in all, I did enjoy this one. It was an enjoyable watch. So I should definitely check this one out anyway. Anyway, over and out.